All right. Good day, everyone. Yeah, I would like to talk on Nigerian budget for 2025. The president of Nigeria actually presented the budget for 2025 last week, and it was clearly stated that the budget estimate happened to be around 47 trillion naira. It's actually a deficit budget, which is about 14 trillion naira deficit. Now, that's not even the problem. Let me first brief you what the three types of budget so that you understand where we are as a country. A deficit, you can have a deficit budget, you can have a surplus budget, and you can have a balanced budget. A balanced budget is a budget where your estimated revenue is equivalent to your estimated expenditure. In other words, if you are planning to earn 5 naira, then you are also planning to spend 5 naira. So there won't be any leftover. Automatically, you are having what is called balanced budget. A surplus budget is when you are expecting something like 10 naira, you're going to spend 7 naira, then you're going to have about 3 naira excess surplus. That's the surplus budget. So you'll be spending less than you earn. Why the deficit budget is actually when you are expecting an estimate of about maybe 7 naira and you're going to spend like 10 naira. So you're going to spend more than you are expecting. Such a budget is called deficit budget. It's usually is an economic strategy anyway. To if a country want to expand the budget, want to create job, want to grow the economy, want to increase demand and all that, they will deliberately go into what they call deficit budget, and that's or they call it incremental budget system. And that has been what Nigeria has been doing for years. Not only Nigeria, many countries have been doing that as well. United States, UK, many countries in Europe do that. It's an economic strategy to ensure that you are growing the economy, you are creating room for jobs and employment and all that. However, budget itself is not the solution. There must be something that makes your budget reasonable and realistic. And these are the assumptions. So if the assumptions are wrong, your budget will be difficult to achieve. If the assumptions are not realistic, you're going to have a challenging in fulfilling your budget. That's where the problem of what they call underperformance of the budget will come in. Now, Nigeria has a couple of assumptions in the 47 trillion naira budget. One of them is inflation, 15%. The current inflation of Nigeria now is about 34.6%. Now, how realistic is this? In my opinion, I believe it's not realistic because the inflation is 34.6 at this level, and you want to do a budget of 15% inflation assumption, then in my opinion, we are not being realistic. This is not realistic. I foresee something like maybe 28, 29, or 30% inflation. That would have been realistic. That is if the inflation driven factors are addressed, such as high cost of energy, subsidy removal issue, floating of naira, and all that. If those ones still remain what they are, and you are expected to operate at 15%, it's not going to be possible. It's going to be difficult. So it's not realistic. Exchange rate 1.5 to a dollar. Currently is about 1,640 to a dollar as at this morning. So if you are expecting 1.5, maybe not. Yeah, this is quite a bit realistic if we work based on if you are doing more of less of import and you are doing more of export, you are selling more product, you are handling more foreign exchange, euro bond and all that, foreign remittance. Yes, we may achieve this if the CBN actually work based on the mechanism and they get it right. Crude oil at $75, this one's quite realistic. It's currently about $70 per se per barrel now. So if you are doing $75 an assumption, this is quite reasonable. I agree with this. Crude oil sale about 2 million barrels per day. Yeah, currently we are doing about 1.7, 1.6, 1.7. We've been doing this for a couple of years, a couple of months, years now. But let's see if the government can control the crude oil theft, which has been a challenge for us for over a couple of years. You can address the crude oil theft. We can also engage the cartel, that is the OPEC. If they can increase our volume, then we can achieve this. So, in other words, this is about, let's say, this is about 50% realistic. This is more like 70% realistic. This is exchange rate. Okay, this is 65% realistic. But this is about 10% realistic. It's about 10%. So this was not too realistic. So in other words, there are other assumptions as well that government need to look into. But deficit budget of 14 trillion naira, which is going to cause us to have to borrow more to incur more debt. That's the challenge, but nothing is impossible. But without the assumption, you don't know how real, you cannot really say the government is going to, the budget to be success or going to be a failure. But we hope that things get better. Mind you, last quarter, our budget performance was just about 38%. It was quite behind schedule, quite low, but I hope things get better this time around and we can see how it goes. Thank you. God bless you.